Welcome to another episode of Chat with Chatto.
Hey guys, how you doing? This is Jason Ramos with Good Vibes Real Estate Solutions. Welcome to another episode of
Chat with Chatto. Welcome, guys. How you doing? Another Wednesday here in beautiful New Jersey. As we're actually neither of us are in New Jersey today, but we're coming to you. Usually we're together. Today we're apart. Reason being, Jay's had some stuff going on. What's been going on with you, Jay?
Cool. So just had a baby. Just had my first baby boy.
Nice.
So I am at home with the missus, and we are learning how to be parents for the first time. So this is fun. Lots of restless nights, sleepless nights, but definitely worth it.
Cool. Yeah, it's great that you have the opportunity to do that with the business that we have. So I mean, we've had to make a few changes to our business. We have a team in place, but one of the things we've implemented since Jay went out was every single morning, 9 a.m., we have a call with the entire team. Find out who's doing what's in the pipeline, what's going on, and also to coach them and to keep them moving in the right direction.
Right.
And one of the things we want to talk about today is our acquisitions, dealing with the sellers and how we are coaching and evaluating our sales team as they deal with different sellers. So do you want to get into that a little bit, Jay?
Cool.
That's your forte.
Yeah, that's my forte. I love dealing with the sellers. So we're going to go over the 5 key components that you must have on every single contact. Right? So if you don't do these 5 things, then your likelihood of getting the contract are very, very slim. So that's what we're going to go over right now. So step number 1.
Advanced agreements.
Say that one more time.
Advanced agreements. So what are we getting agreement to?
Okay, so that's exactly what it is. Advanced agreements is you're getting them to agree on something right away. So ahead of time. So basically, think about how your person gets to you. All right, you send them a postcard.
Okay.
They have no clue who you are, right? So they just get this piece of mail. Now they're giving you a call. So an advanced agreement is basically, you're answering their question before they even ask you. Okay. So what it looks like is, typically somebody who gives us a call, they want to know who we are, what we can do, and what we can offer for their property. Are those the similar type of questions that you have?
Yes. So now I'm agreeing that,
right.
Yes, that's why I'm calling you.
Perfect. I'll be more than happy to answer that for you. Do you have about 5 minutes or so? I just want to ask you a few questions about your property, and then we'll be able to determine whether or not it's a fit for us.
Okay. Cool.
Perfect.
So now, again, I'm getting agreement that, yes, I'm going to be on the phone with you for a few minutes. You're going to be asking me questions,
right.
And that there's really kind of no obligation. If it's a fit, great. If it's not a fit, that's okay.
Okay. So the importance of the advanced agreements is to, number 1, you are in control of the contact, right? So number 2 is you're getting them to agree. You're stating what you need from them. You're going to be asking them a bunch of questions. You're going to be answering their questions about, who we are, what we can do, what we can offer, and you're pretty much guiding them where they need to go.
Yeah, you're almost setting the expectation. So, like, they're not going to be sitting there wondering what's going to happen on this call. We just laid it out, and now they can rest about that and be more present to the conversation.
Absolutely. And you're not just bombarding them with a bunch of questions when all they really want to know is, why did I get this postcard? So you're letting them know, you're setting a stage, and you're also you're making it more concise, right?
Cool.
That's very cool. So advanced agreement sets the stage for what you need to do next.
Okay. Now, from a logistical standpoint, obviously we need to get information, right? So what kind of information are we looking for? What kind of information? The second point would be verifying information. What do we need to verify?
Okay. So bullet point number 2, verify information. That's beautiful. Perfect. So number 1, we need to verify who we're speaking to, the person's name. All right. So we want to get the full name. We want to make sure we have the address correct.
Probably want to verify they're the owner.
Yeah. Verify that they're the owner. A lot of times you want to make sure that the phone that they're calling you on is a cell phone. A lot of times what we do is we text people. So we want to see if it's a cell phone or a home phone. And probably the most important, or one of the most important, is the email address. Not the most important, but one of the most is the email address. And the reason why we want to get the email address is because, number 1, that's the email we're going to be sending our contracts to once we make
Okay.
an offer. And number two, if we don't come up with a deal right now, and if we can't agree on a price, now we put them in our autoresponder, right? And months from now, they're going to get a nice little email from us. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Customer? We spoke to you in the past. So it helps keep the conversation going. It's another way
Yeah.
to automate the marketing for these people.
Now, like, it seems to me like a lot of people would be not wanting to give out an email address. Like, how do you word that to kind of get them to convert?
Perfect. Yeah. So what I do is I say, hey, Mr. Customer, I want to give you some information about our company, our contact
Okay.
information, just so you know who you're speaking with, so you know that we're a legit company. May I have your email address so I can send that to?
Perfect.
And nine
Okay,
times out
cool.
of 10, that eases that. You know, a lot of times people don't want to be spammed. It's a level of professionalism, and that's how we break that ice with them.
Perfect. Now, the information, does that also include information about the house?
Yes.
And how deep do we go with that?
We go a little deep. All right. So we want to be able to, you want to get enough information about the property so that you can typically just make an offer over the phone without even having to see it. Right. So you want to feel your person out though. If your person, if when you're talking to them, they sound like they're in a rush or they're in a hurry or whatever, or they don't really know much about it, you know, kind of like gauge them, how they're reacting to you. But typically you want to know what's the condition of the property. Is it, you know, totally, is it great condition? Doesn't need any work? Doesn't need, you know, is it fair condition? What types of renovations does it need?
Okay.
The
And I
kitchen,
think,
bathrooms dated, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, that type of thing. That's what you definitely want to get on the phone so that when you are setting the appointment, all right, we didn't even get to that point yet, but you want to set it up for if you have to set the appointment, you already have a base of what your offer is going to be before you get there. So that's why you want to ask that information ahead of time.
gotcha. And I think part of it is not asking it as if like it's a series of questions. It's more, it needs to be a conversation with the person.
Yes. Yep.
Um,
So a lot of
and then the
times,
other thing I can suggest, if you're able to multitask a little bit, type the address into Zillow. You're going to see the square foot. You're going to see the bedrooms, the baths, and you're going to seem more knowledgeable if you say, hey, that's a 4-bedroom, right? You know, oh yeah, it's a 4-bedroom. It's about 2,000 square foot. Oh yeah. So you can kind of use that to make them feel like you're really know more about the deal than you really do.
yeah, I've done that plenty of times. When you're on the call with the person, pull it up. You know, you could say, "Oh, is it the one with the red shutters, right across the street from that convenience store?" And then that helps you build rapport. You know, oh yeah, you know the area. No, I just looked it up on Google Maps.
You know, speaking of building rapport,
Yeah,
that's the
perfect
next one.
segue. Perfect segue.
Yep.
So step number 3,
3.
building rapport. All right. So you don't want to be a machine. You don't want to be the robot on the phone that's just asking a bunch of questions and, you know, not really paying attention. So one of the tips about building rapport is number 1, listen. You have to be listening to the person. You can't be sitting there typing everything and not paying attention. A lot of times when you get really good on these calls, the seller's going to open up. You know, they're going to tell you a lot about their life. They're going to tell you about the drama that's going on. You have to respond to that. You have to empathize with your seller. If you're just sitting there as a note taker, then you might as well just hire a VA from a different country that doesn't really, you know, speak English very well. You know, you want to be able to talk to the person, empathize. If somebody recently died, acknowledge that. You know, if they've, you know, if they're in the hospital or they're sick or somebody's, acknowledge that. You know, talk to them. Um, inject some of your personal experience. Um, that definitely helps. You know, people that are going through financial hardship or a death in the family, if you can relate to that in any way and ease that pain and show them that you know what they're going through, they're gonna open up to you, and you know the likelihood that you get the deal is gonna increase. So that's building rapport. Is even like silly stuff. You know, oh, I'm going on vacation to Hawaii. Oh, great, I've been to Hawaii. You know, try to relate with them on any level that you can. What do you have for that, Chatto? What do you think about rapport? You have some good examples of that. Yeah, it looks like Chatto is frozen. Okay. So we have a little bit of technical difficulties. It looks like Chatto's, as soon as I started talking about death, Chatto's face died on the screen, and his power just went out. So he doesn't know when he's going to be back on. But as they say, the show must go on. So build a rapport. That's where we were, and that's very important. You don't want to just be another face or another voice on the phone. You want to be memorable. So the more rapport that you build with somebody, the better chances are that you're going to get the deal. So definitely build rapport. Number 4, and this honestly is the most important. This is the one that's going to determine whether or not you set the appointment, whether or not, you go out there and you make the thing happen. It's called determining the motivation. All right, without this, you have no idea what to offer. You have no idea how quickly you're going to close. Okay. So one of the questions that we ask is, why are you selling? Right? And when you ask that question, just ask it and shush, just listen. They're going to tell you, well, I'm not really interested in selling. I never thought about selling. I just got your postcard and, decided to call you. Okay. So that person is not really highly motivated. But on the flip side, if somebody says, well, I'm about to get divorced and I need to sell this thing right away, that's a high motivation. So high motivation, that's somebody that you want to meet with right away. That's an appointment that you want to set. You want to get in front of them because they have to sell. Okay. So one of the questions that I really like to ask is, if we agree on price and, we agree on the price, how quickly are you willing to sign the contract and get this thing done? All right. Or any variation of that. How quickly are you looking to move? All right. 30 days, 90 days, 60 days, whatever it is. So if they say, we agree on the price, I'm ready to sign right now, run out the door, meet that person and get that contract signed. Okay. The higher the motivation, the better off you are. The more likelihood that you're going to get the deal. Cool. So without determining the motivation, there's really no way that if this guy's ready to sell or not. Determining the motivation is the most important piece of information that you're going to find out on this call. So if you don't find that out, you have no idea what to offer. You have no idea what they're going to accept, and you're most likely not going to get the deal. So, and you might just be wasting your time. If you don't know if they're motivated, you go out there and you see that, they're not ready to sell. You just wasted an hour of your life that you can easily get back. So make sure you're asking those questions. How quickly are you looking to sell? Why you want to sell? What price? All right, try to get that out of your person. All right, a lot of times people, they look at it like poker and they don't want to give that number. So one of the tactics that I've been using lately is, let's just say the property's worth about $200,000 ARV. I say, hey, where do you need to be? What are you looking to get to make it a deal? And they say, oh, I don't know, make me an offer. I say, okay, well, it all depends on this, it all depends on the condition of the property. It all depends on me seeing it. I haven't seen the property yet. I don't really know where I need to be. Where do you need to be? And if they're going back and forth and they're not giving you a number, what you can do is throw out a soft number. Okay. And what I like to do is say, okay, so if somebody were to offer you, let's just say $125,000 cash, what would you say? And depending on how they react to that, that'll help you determine whether or not it's a deal. If they say, oh, hell no, that's way too low, and you really need to be around that price range, then, it's probably not going to be a deal for you. But, if they say, yeah, I'll consider that, and that's where you need to be, then now you know that, okay, you can definitely make a deal happen. And that's one way that you're not on the hook either, because you didn't offer them that. You're just saying hypothetically, if somebody else offered you this. So that's one way that I was able to get that out of the person when they were trying to hold their number close to their chest. All right. So determine the motivation. So the last one is you want to wrap it up. All right. You want to wrap up the call. So you want to explain the next steps. All right. And the next steps is either you're setting the appointment, or if it's not a deal, you're just going to say, hey, it really is not a fit for us. It sounds like you want retail for your property. I have agents on my team if you want to go that route, if you want to list it. But as far as a cash offer, it really doesn't work for us. So at the end of the call, you want to determine what your exit strategy is. If you're wholesaling and you're offering cash and it's way off in price, then you're pretty much, it's a done deal at that point. So you're done. You let them know it's not a fit and you move on and you end it nicely. If you need to set the appointment, great, set the appointment. Make sure that they know that you're going to be calling them ahead of time to verify the appointment the next day. And just explain the next steps of the process. Okay, so the next steps is simply, I'm going to set the appointment. I'm going to come out tomorrow at noon. Once we see the property, we're going to be able to give you an offer on the spot. All right. Once we sign that, you explain the next steps about the title company and what's going to happen after that, and guide them through the whole process. So that's pretty much it. So you want to set the advanced agreements, let them know it's going to be about 5 minutes. You're going to be asking them a bunch of questions. You want to gather as much information as possible. While you're doing that, you want to be building rapport. You need to determine the motivation, and you're going to offer solutions to their problem and explain the next steps. So those are the 5 key components to a contact. So guys, if you are doing that and hitting that on every single call that you make, you're going to be very successful in this business. All right. So as always, if you have any questions or any comments, please, reach out to us online at questions@goodvibesre.com. All right, guys. So that was it for this week. We'll be back with another episode next Wednesday. Hopefully Chatto's connection will be back by then. All right. So until then, guys, thank you very much for your time. And as always, good vibes. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.